Welcome back to the Hair Curler Chronicles. Tim and Nancy Danter here again in the kitchen at Kitchener-Waterloo with our great friend, Tim Perry. Welcome back, Tim. How are you?
Basking in the sunlight.
That's good. You look like you're glowing, like you've got the warmth of the sun on this beautiful spring day. This is great. We're so happy to have you back, and you just have that healthy glow about you.
So
I'll take it.
What's that saying? Spring is sprung, the grass is riz. I wonder where the crypto is.
Oh,
another idea for a t-shirt.
Pa-ching. Anyways, we had such a good time with you the last time we were talking about NFTs, the crazy. If we thought crypto was cryptic, NFTs are even more confusing. But I think it was a really cool and interesting conversation. And we were talking about the NFT platform token that we sent you. But you said you had a hot tip for us, and we need a new hot tip that we can start to watch and follow. Right. So why don't you give us an idea about what you've got going on?
So with the OMI call, I really loved, as we touched on, licensed NFTs. Because I wouldn't want to sway people on just random NFTs, even if they are good, because I just don't trust that process. So everything I'm going to talk about is licensed NFTs. So Ethernity is the next pick. Ticker is ERN. And it's focusing on kind of like authenticated memorabilia by celebrities. So they just did a deal with Tony Hawk skateboarding, which obviously he has a pretty big following. They've got a Muhammad Ali authenticated, by the family thing to commemorate his 50th anniversary against Joe Frazier or whatever. So they're going to, any fans of sports, iconic moments, if they're authenticated by the sports figures themselves and stuff like that, that in my opinion would be pretty big.
What exchange is that on?
Yeah.
Uniswap.
Uniswap. Okay.
At least for me, yeah. I didn't do a ton of due diligence on other exchanges because all my money, I got Ethereum on Uniswap. So
no, that's good.
Just check CoinGecko if you're, want to do a centralized.
You can find this on CoinGecko as well.
Yep. Generally, if it's not listed on CoinGecko yet, you're in really, really, really early. Because CoinGecko is really good at getting coins before you've even heard of them normally, but if it's not on CoinGecko, you found a really diamond in the rough.
Okay, so have you bought this token yet?
I did. I'm not as I then FOMO'd more into OMI, so I'm not as big into it. But luckily, where I bought it, it's already up 50% on the Tony Hawk news.
Approximately, what would that a price point on this one be?
So it was at $32. The coin circulation is much lower. That's why. You hear $32, you think, but it's not as much in circulation. Unfortunately, right now, because the other coin that I'm about to mention, I'm slightly confused on which circulations are which, because obviously I've been going pretty fast with all this. But I know for a fact that it's low circulation, which gives you a low market cap, room to grow. But OMI has a massive market cap, but I don't think it applies when gravity is not a factor with these NFT hypes.
So is this an NFT or is this a platform for an NFT?
It would do platforms, but obviously that releases authenticated NFTs. So it's kind of doing everything. It's same with like OMI and Vive, right? Like it's a platform. They've got a platform, but they also have, they're doing deals with artists that release stuff. So it's like an all-encompassing kind of thing.
So I've got it. I do have it up here on CoinGecko, and it's the Ethernity chain, right?
Yes.
And it's trading at 35.19 right now.
Cool. It's up. Okay. I'll take. It's always good news when every time you usually bring up a coin that I'm in, I'm always going, oh, look at dip for everybody, but I'm crying inside. So this is the first time I get to smile inside. Yeah. Perfect. Finally, Tim looks like he knows what he's doing.
Oh, good. We're moving along on the
new parking spot at the school.
Oh boy. There you go. So and do you really, I guess we're going to go back to talk about who is buying these NFTs, do you think? Like who's having these things?
Because obviously you're seeing an influx from the DeFi sector and all these other coins that are not moving now. because NFT is going crazy. So crypto people move fast. So it's people like me and all my crypto buddies of the last years. They're just following the trends. But obviously, I think you're starting to see some people who don't even know about crypto, but they love, they're collectors, they're, you know, into this stuff. Like I can't pronounce his last name, but he's known as Gary V on YouTube. He's motivational,
Vanderchuck,
something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's a huge collectible guy. I guess he's bought tons of baseball cards over the years and comic books or whatever like that. And obviously, I'm not super familiar, so I'm kind of winging it here. But he's obviously going crazy on NFTs, right? But I don't even think he's probably aware of it now, but I don't think he's a huge investor in Bitcoin, but he's just, I love the whole concept of NFTs. So you're getting people who haven't even been, you know, it's the gateway. Like I said, we've talked about, you know, the gateway drug kind of thing. NFTs looks like it's going to be a massive gateway drug into all the other crypto, because DeFi is not done. It's just taking a breather, right? Because it's got way more long-term use cases for real world applications with banking and stuff like this. So you'll see, you know, everything will level off. But right now, NFTs it's bringing in eyes that weren't always there. Artists are going, wait, I can keep all my own money by doing this, right? So you're getting all new eyes on it.
Yeah. No, I like that. Anything that's original content needs to be, because it used to, you know, it used to drive me crazy. And I think the NFTs are going to change that. No, I didn't. You always drive me crazy. But what used to drive me crazy is, think about concerts. Okay. We talked about concerts in the previous episode. So let's go back to the Bare Naked Lady concert. If you know how you have to sit there, if you wanted to get tickets, you have to sit there and try to buy the tickets as quickly as possible.
You got to beat the bots.
Beat the bot. Then, So then it's the aftermarket, which was making more money than on the actual concert itself. Right. I think if I was the concert venue places, I think they know the additional money that could be made on these things. And I think that they will put them as NFTs. You have to have the authenticator, so that if you have to resell it, then they'll put a thing on how much they're going to take on the resale of those.
Well, the blockchain, it'll be on the ledger. You won't even be able to lie about what the price is, because you'll see where it moved from the last person.
Right.
So you'd be like, obviously you can choose to sell. If someone goes to jack the price up, you'll see it and you can be like, no, I'm not going to buy it. But like, the ledger will keep it honest.
Right.
Like the Loblaws bread scandal, right? Like where they're jacking. I mean, the blockchain technology would solve that.
Yeah.
So no, concerts are a massive, massive thing, because the artists can also make more money off the top from the concerts as well, by keeping it decentralized with the NFTs and stuff like
transparent.
that.
Yeah.
Transparent. Yeah.
Yeah. The money's going to go. Yeah.
Well, and most tickets nowadays, even if you go back to the Ticketmaster, most tickets nowadays, they don't actually give you a ticket. They give you the e-ticket. So that's where they could easily put that authenticator in there. So if you tried to give that ticket to somebody else, you know, I'm not exactly sure how this is all going to work, but I think somebody's going to figure out how to make concert tickets on an NFT. And when they do, and wherever that platform is, I want to buy into that token.
Oh, it's coming at a fast pace, 100%. I've already heard this idea many times, or else I wouldn't be aware of it. Do I understand how they're going to bring it either? No, I don't, because I'm still, NFTs is probably my weakest area of expertise.
Yeah.
But you talk about concerts as well. How many times I've had it happen to friends? They go to the Leafs game or something like this, and you get a scalper or something. It's a fake ticket now. Fake tickets are all over Kijiji, right? NFTs, there goes that.
Yeah, wipes that out, keeps it honest.
Because technically, you could take your phone and scan it, and you could have an NFT authenticator to find out whether this is actually a thing.
You're not a normie anymore.
I'm not a normie. I don't know how to make it go. I have the idea.
I've never even thought about that, heard about that, and I literally just went, whoa, another application.
Maybe we should create an application, an NFT scanner.
Well, you know, in all fairness, I just want to touch on something too, because you just so I introduced another friend. It's been 2 weeks, and he dove in head first, and he's already coming at me with these amazing picks, amazing ideas, and it just made me really happy that how much people, when they get into crypto, when they get into it, you can just be, you know, he's in the health industry, right? Healthcare industry, right? he could literally now, he's like, I could do this with blockchain with the healthcare. I'm like, absolutely. Like the ideas are limitless. It allows for everybody now to also, like everybody's got a good idea, right? Like everybody has vision, but very few people have executed it on because either the system looked too daunting to go down those steps or, timing and everything like this. Crypto will allow people with less time on their hands, all this to bring their ideas to the forefront to be shared. Whether or not it becomes successful, who knows? But at least it will bring, I've reverted to the 9-to-5 lifestyle and how most people are not living their dreams or doing this. I feel like it's also going to open up Pandora's box for people to live their dream again, or like take part in it, and not to just make money, but to just do what they love,
Well, remember in one of our previous episodes, I talked about watching Daniela Camboni interview that Dr. Pippa on Stansberry Research. She talked about that we're at a very interesting point in our history because with what happened with the pandemic, and so many entrepreneurs got wiped out because through no fault of their own. It just happened. They were shut down, and not a lot of business, especially if they're not fully capitalized, like they're just hanging on by the skin of their teeth, which oftentimes in our business life, that was how it was. We were hanging on by the skin of our teeth. But that's the risk you take when you're an entrepreneur. But she said, now what's happened is you have an influx of creative entrepreneurial spirit that is untapped.
Yeah.
And it's an energy level. Then you've got, and if you look at the stock market and how it's overcapitalized, that means there's a lot of liquidity in the market. There's a lot of money in play, in circulation right now. So she said, if you take all of that money and you add it to the creative energy, she said, we're going to see revolutionary innovation happen in the coming years like we've never seen, because people have been given time. And we've said this all along. And I did a thing for my team back in November. And I said, if we look at the lockdown as a gift of time that we've all been given, and you get to choose what you're going to do with that gift of time. Is it ideal to be sitting in your house day in and day out doing your work and all that stuff and not seeing friends? It's not ideal unless you look at it as ideal. Like it's an idea. We would never in a million years. I was so ensconced in the rat race and doing my day-to-day stuff. I was, not only was it a heavy workload, but then I was doing my commute on top of that. And then I was working on the weekends because I was traveling so much. I was trying to get caught up on the weekends. There was no time for me to look at crypto and to open my mind to something else. This has been the best thing that's ever happened to us because we've got the gift of time.
I mean, most opportunity comes from hardship, right? I'm not a person who likes to dwell on my hardships by any means. So like I can tell you that when the COVID first happened, I mean my whole personal world fell apart, like everything fell apart. But I'm one of those people, I brush myself off pretty fast. I go, how can I pivot now? I've lost all 3 of my jobs, because bartending industry, all that. But I've got crypto, right? And there's other avenues out there, and I focus more on crypto. And now, like I won't get into specifics, but I mean, I make more doing this than I ever did bartending.
Yeah, and I think about that Ryan that we're in his crypto challenge or his Wealth Simple challenge. Ryan, same thing. The gift of time was thrust upon him, and it was he had a holy Hannah moment, and. But he picked himself up just like you, and he went, well, what do I know? And what can I do? And I think, one of my all-time favorite books is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And he's got a saying in that, he's got some real good nuggets in there, but he said that those who succeed in life are often ones that have been faced with the most enormous challenges. And it's in those moments in time where we're introduced to our other selves, and you have no idea what your other self is capable of until you're put in a place where you have to meet your other self.
Yep. And I believe, like, obviously, and I know people are probably going, wow, they're really off the crypto scale, but this is psychology, right? This is psychology, and people need to understand that markets, stock markets, everything is so driven by psychology. you know, because obviously I don't want people to lose people now and then go, oh, are they just going to go up? But like, heed like other words that you read in other avenues and realize that it's all psychology. Like, especially with charts, you know, like charts are meant like when they do, you know, fake outs, right? Or stuff like this. And all the prices pumping to get you to buy in here. So they drop it. And then you think, what have I done? Then you sell, and then they go, bam, they go full tilt, right? They faked you out. They shook you out of your money so they could get more, buy low, you know, like sell high. They know how to do it, but the normies are not realizing this, right? So there's psychology behind all these things. Like if you fall, get back up, because that's going to happen in crypto, right? You know, like I've literally 3 times now taken 6 figures. Well, okay, no, twice, because now I've redeemed myself, but I've taken 6 figures, lost it down all the way to 4 figures.
Yeah.
And I could have easily have said, packed it up and said, that's it. But I knew in my heart that I'm like, this is the future. I'm like, you're just, you know, and you know, this pep talk to myself is just like, you could sit here and cry about it, or you could get back up, change your ways and get back up, you know? And then I made the different mistake when I lost it again, but I lived and learned. But that time I was like, okay, like really defeated. And my dad gave me my dad was a stockbroker, and he gave me this conversation. He said, I was about to capitulate in October. I said, I'm going to sell out. I can't take it anymore. My dad said, you know, my dad's like, he knows me well. He's like, you're a pretty strong dude. So the fact that you want to sell tells me that now's the time to just ride it out, because this is probably the bottom. Sure enough, everything goes on in Terra after that. And then I just got this increased confidence again. And then I'm just like, now I'm ready for anything, because, you know, but now, yeah, like and you look back and you go, wow, if I had called it a day there, I'd be watching this right now and I'd be just crying.
Right. So you got to get into your groove with this. You got to know, and that's where we get that question. We've touched on it before. That's where we get that question about taking profits and understanding, so that you're not in a panic about your investments. And so,
and don't get me wrong, like I did take profits those times, but it still didn't make me feel any better to drop so much. So there is that psychology too, right? Like I've taken out plenty, but it still doesn't feel good. And and I just want everyone to really drive in the psychology too, that like, you're not going to hit every coin out the gates, you know?
No. And you know what, honestly, I will say that Tim and I, when we bought our Bitcoin, we haven't taken any profit out of that, because sort of like you said on one of your other coins, you got in probably Union, you got in so low that, so we're happy to sit now.
It's our horse.
Yeah.
We just let sleeping dogs lie on that one, and we don't
you guys are about 9,000, 10,000, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's almost, you know, anything can happen, but in my personal opinion, you're in a cozy enough position that I don't think you'll ever see drastic losses. And this is my fear for all your viewers and everything like this right now. And all my buddies that I've gotten in the last few months, they're just calling me every day. Oh my God, I'm up 10 grand. And they're just euphoric. And I feel kind of bad sometimes, because I scale it back, because they're like, and they're sending me coins. I'm like, be wary, could be a scam, right? And I can get the sense that they're thinking I'm being negative about it. I'm not being negative, but like, you guys only know the sun, you know, and it's going to rain at some point. Hopefully it doesn't rain to the point that I've experienced. I don't wish that on anybody, but please be wary that it's not just all up, you know, like.
What I learned very early in life is that if I don't want someone's opinion, I don't ask for their opinion.
I should adhere to that more.
Well, anyways, this has been great. I've got a new pick, the Ethernity chain. We'll look into that.
And do a quick, because I want to throw it. TVK is the letters.
Oh,
it's got NFT license deals with like movie memorabilia.
Is it a different coin, TVK?
Yes, TVK, Terra Virtua.
Oh, you're killing me.
TVK.
But we won't go in, because you guys, you know what? This is a lesson to the viewers. Do your own due diligence. I'm not helping on this one.
And there's
the breadcrumb, you do the rest.
I know. So Terra Virtua is movie memorabilia?
Yeah, TVK with license deals.
Virtua Collect, but it's
expect those 3 to be leaders along with OMA to be You'll hear about those in the NFT space. Obviously, there's so many, but like you'll hear about those a lot.
You'll hear about, you mean you'll hear Terra in the
TVK, you're gonna hear. I'm already starting. So I've just found it obviously in the last week, and now it's coming in my feed, right? In my crypto, in my Twitter feed. I'm starting to see TVK a lot. ERN right now, I say is on level with OMI, because
what is?
Like I'm talking about the hype momentum, like the social media,
right?
Because you can go. I can't remember the website right now. I've got it bookmarked. You can actually see it measures social media, like hype on it. How many posts are going about it? So that's another cool thing, because you can see, okay, well, when I got in Union, you know, there was next to nobody, and now it's going like this. Another quick way to watch the growth of a coin is to go to their like Etherscan, it's called, especially if it's on the Ethereum network.
Etherscan, CAN.
Yeah, that's it'll show their contract, but it'll also say, it'll show how many wallets are accumulating, separate wallets there are, and it even has the chart and shows you the growth over the time. If you can, so yield credit right now, price has gone down a bit since mainnet, but yet the wallets keep accumulating. So it's only wallets with a lot of yield that are selling, right? So I'm going, okay, these are people taking profits, rightfully so, because I was worried when the price dropped. I was thinking, oh, geez. But then I'm just like, there's an exponential, you know, increase in wallets. So people are buying, and it's clearly just the people. And you can also see the holders and how many coins they have on the Etherscan. So I look, I go, wow, there's a lot of big holders. Can't blame them for selling at 20 above starting price. Yeah, so then you get the psychology in, and it makes me sleep better at night going, prices dropped, wallets are accumulating. It's just distribution, you know.
But that's the game of it. I mean, that's the game even in stocks, is that, you know, at some point in time, all the people that hold the big number of stocks get to a certain point where they sell out. They, you know, take their profit, whatever the case is, leave money in the game. But when the stock goes down, then they get back in again, right?
But knowledge is power, right? To someone who's watching this, who's just learning, they're going to see the price drop and immediately panic.
Freak out.
What have I done? And they'll probably sell because they're too scared. But you go to Etherscan, you check out social media stuff. Obviously, you know, if you're doing it more full time, and you can come to a more reasonable conclusion that either, you know, you could come to the other conclusion that, okay, wallets have sold, stuff like this, I'm going to sell, right? Because you're not going to win them all. Right. You know, I'll just to share with people, love yield credit, still have it. But when you guys got me into OMI, I sold some of my yield. Simply mindset wise was, yield's not ready to go right now. There's still big wallets selling, it's distributing. Maybe I can go over here and get some, take those profits, put it back into yield, take profits, put it into my bank account, and then ride the rest in OMI and in yield. Yeah. But that's an intermediate type level way of thinking of playing crypto when you're more into it.
That's awesome. So hoping that we could do another episode where I've been getting a lot of questions, both through the Hi Rai live chats on Sundays and through our channel on the comments. And so I wanted to do maybe a rapid fire discussion on some of those comments so that we could get some answers out to the community. And this has been great again, Tim. Really, really appreciate your time.
It's really neat.
And love having you on our show.
See you soon.
Thanks.